Yeah, perfectly fine.
Fine. Okay. So these are our Blitz team students. Shruti is here, Smriti is here, Harshita, Simrat. Some are from first year, some from second year, and some are from third year. So actually at my side, my camera is not working right now, so that's why I cannot on this my camera. So these are our Blitz team.
Oh,
Uh,
good to see everyone.
yeah, he's a Farhan Agam. Yeah, Farhan is our Blitz team president.
Hello.
Hello,
So
everyone.
yeah, so Anjali, you are there in the Hyderabad or in the Delhi itself?
Currently, I'm in Delhi because we
Okay,
are working from home, but like we were expected to be back in January, but because of this Omicron again,
okay, okay.
yeah.
So we have a huge number of registration for your event, and let's see how many participants are going to join. Uh, okay, so let me call Principal Ma'am so that she can join. So she is joining. Uh, Ma'am is joining. Vice Principal is joining. So then we can start with the event.
So let us say you are a beginner. You haven't started competitive programming yet. So let's just pick a problem, and a lot of problems are available on Geeks for Geeks. So just pick any problem, and they also mention tags there. So pick easy level problem only. First, to try to understand what the problem statement is, and then you just try to form a logic around it. Give it some 30 to 40 minutes of time. If you are still not able to understand, then you go through the solution and then you do it again after 2 or 3 days. So that way you will initially, because like if you are not so familiar with the competitive coding, it is very obvious that you will not, do not expect immediate results. So a lot of people say, I'm learning today, but I cannot see a huge difference. Doesn't matter. Even if you're getting better by 1% in a day, you can understand in 30 days you will be better by 30%, and that is what actually counts. And that is all about. So that is why I'm saying be regular about what you are doing, and do not stop learning. And again, like since you people are freshers, so you do not have any industrial experience which you can showcase in your resume or in the interview. So what you can do, create a project. By project, what all things you can learn? You can learn a front end, you learn a scripting language, you can learn a back end. And PPT together in one project, you can understand how better understanding you will develop by the end of that project. And when we are talking about projects, please do not create projects like hospital management, school management. Trust me, those projects hold no value at all. But what kind of projects you can create? If you're coming up with something innovative, that is really going to stand out in the crowd. But if you do not want to invest your time in creating something innovative, what you can do, go for clone of some already established apps like Netflix, or it can be Instagram, Gmail, it could be anything. And like people say that, oh, what about the payment gateway? You do not have to do each and everything. Like for the payment gateway, you can just straight away print a message on the screen that payment has been done. Like you do not have to actually go and have a payment gateway in your clone apps. But what I'm actually aiming there, you should be knowing what all things we are doing. And the best example is the bookshop app. If you are able to make a clone of that, trust me, you will learn a lot of things. Because if you will understand that website is too vast, that is covering a lot of things in one platform. Also, how it works, let us say you are booking a ticket for a movie. So how it is, like let us say you want to book a ticket, then you are going to see the seat structure. You will see some seats are available. So what I'm actually saying is that of the transaction, subsequent rounds accordingly. So what you will have to do, I'm not saying that for all companies you update your resume, but for at least good companies, just see what the job description is and accordingly you create your resume. Like for campus placement, it is perfectly fine, but I'm talking about if you're applying for off campus. Because for the campus placements, you all are going to get equal opportunity to apply for that. And what you have to do, like for that, keep any of your detail in a table. Your ATS is not able to read the text through that. It is not able to parse everything. So just avoid your tables as much as you can. And skills should always be on the left hand side, because you can understand recruiters are not from technical background. Even if we say they are technical recruiters, all that means is they are dealing with the technical people, but they may or may not be from the technical background. So even if you know a lot of things, but if recruiter is not able to figure out that you know each and everything, that is not going to be of any use. And then what else you can do on your resume? First of all, your professional background should be there. So I assume you people must have done some internships or anything. Even if you have not done, and if you are in third year, so what you can do, just go and try out your luck in various companies. Just a second. Yeah. So for the internship part, you can apply in various companies. Do not look for the earning for now, because earning is something which you can do after 4 or 5 years of entering into the professional world. Right now, what should be your first target? That should be your learning. So even in HR round, to that level, when you will not just learn the code, when you will understand the code, then only you can actually reach to that level. And then they were asking me, do the dry run of this code. So I do not know how many of you are well versed with that dry run word. Dry run means you have your code written with you, just provide values and verbally run and see if you are getting the desired output out of it or not. Then they were asking me, now you tell me the set of inputs for which this code is for sure going to fail. Whenever we write any code, we always feel that this is not going to fail. But they were asking me, tell me the situation. So, how you can reach to that level when you are writing code on these IDs? Because you will see that, okay, these are the test cases where this can fail. And why are they asking this question? Because they already know that there is a way to optimize it further. So that was my first question. Second one was the mirror traversal of a tree. So again, for a mirror traversal, also you cannot just do like you can do it straight away. Then they started manipulating the question that okay, now just consider this could be the set of input, or this is how you can provide some value change, and now you tell me what is going to be the output for the same. So that is how it was all about. Second one was the system design, and I'll not discuss it further because I do not know how well versed you people are with the system design, or if somebody can just let me know in the chat box like about the system design.
So I think facility of chat is not available to the audience, if I'm
Okay, yeah,
not
yeah,
wrong.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Shruti, can you handle this and say the audience if they can raise their hand to answer this question, and then we can open the
Yes,
mic?
ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay. If anyone know the answer to the question, please raise your hand. We will open your mic.
Please repeat the question also, Shruti, if you can. The ma'am is asking about the system design.
Yeah.
Okay. So the question is, what are the system designs? If anyone know the answer, please raise your hand.
No response, I
It's
think.
perfectly fine if nobody knows the answer. So it's like I'll give a basic example. You do not have to worry a lot about it
Ma'am,
because Mhm.
there's one hand.
Yeah.
Yes, Chaudhary. Wait a second. We will.
Now, Yash,
Nah,
you open your mic. Yash?
Yes, good evening. The system design is like, I think, like modules, architecture, or you can say interface like graphic designing, like that, maybe.
No. So this I'll actually tell you all these things. This is something which you are going to learn once you enter into the corporate world. So that is like whenever you are designing, what is an architect? Like if we'll talk about a normal architect. So what is that person job is? Like you will say, I want to construct something here. Architect is going to come up with a plan, come up with a design, and based upon that they are going to go ahead with the construction, right? So same way we have software architects, and software architects are the ones who take care of the software designing part. So let's say I want to create one application for a hospital, okay? So architect is going to define certain rules for the designing, that I want class like this, I want like this, and certain rules are going to be there, and we'll have to understand why we are using that, and based upon that we will go ahead with the implementation part. So in that particular round, what all types of questions you can expect, it is like, firstly they will say, okay, you design this particular system for us. They will say like it could be Netflix, it could be Snapchat, anything like that is how questions has been already asked. Another one will be on some database design. So they will say, we have these particular fields and this field may come, may not come, and something like that they will say. And then they will say, which one are we going to follow here? The SQL one or the no SQL one? And all these things you will understand once you are well versed with both of the things together. And after that, what kind of questions you can expect? It will be like, you know what an interface does. At the same time, you know we have association. So they will ask you questions like what association does, what interface does, and which one to pick when. So you will know all these answers once you know all these things to that depth. That is why I'm saying, whenever you are learning something, do not just learn it for the sake of learning. You learn it from the sense of responsibility that later on you are going to design a system and there will be end users for that. So, like, if I'll talk about my previous company, that was a healthcare one. So, we used to create, like, you must have seen some CT scanners and all, right? So, our system was very much similar to a CT scanner. So, you can understand if we are making some code change there, that is going to affect a lot of patients, and we cannot take that on our head. So, we were very cautious about writing any piece of code that it should not go wrong. It should always give the correct values as it is expected to give. And now, like if we'll talk about Microsoft, we know here the user end user count is vast. We do not have a proper count, like at least for the hospitals, count is going to be lesser, but here it is a lot, like to a high value. So considering the consumer base, we cannot just straight away provide any of the solution. We'll have to be very cautious about what code we are writing and how we can actually write an efficient code when we understand all the topics to a very good depth. Always have a habit of maintaining comments in your code. Even if you're writing it for some technical test, in technical test, like first approach is always going to be just complete your test in time. And if you have some time left, what you do, go back to your questions, provide some comments there before submitting it, because everything actually makes a difference. Always write a clean code for your technical test. So in most of the companies, you are going to get a technical test first. If you are able to clear that test, then only they will move ahead with the one-on-one interviews. So always ensure that whatever question is there. So what you do, again, even if you're taking 2 minutes or 3 minutes of time in order to understand, just understand, read it thoroughly 2 or 3 times and see what input they are giving. And usually they provide some expected output as well there. So just see, okay, this is the input, this is the output, and what the question is saying. So what mistake I have done in that? So earlier, what I used to do, instead of spending time on reading that question, because that used to be a big question, I just used to take input and the expected output. Based upon that, I used to create a logic. But that will work only for 1 or 2 test cases. That is not going to work for all the test cases. For that, you need to understand what the question is asking you to do. If you are developing a good understanding there, then only you will be able to write down a good piece of code. And that pseudocode thing you all do. Also maintain a notebook where you are writing down all the key points there. So this is something which you can do. And when we'll talk about the oops, like I was actually telling you about the 3 tiers of the companies. So tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. So tier 1 is all about data structure and algorithms and little bit of oops as well. And some people even ask about the computer architecture. So you can understand if you are applying for a job, and like if it is related to networking, you can expect questions on networks as well. So you can understand that it is going to be based upon all the core computer science subjects. If you are targeting some tier 2 or tier 3 companies, tier 2 companies are the well established companies and tier 3 companies are the startups. So for these companies, if you're giving interviews, that is majorly going to be on the tech stack which they have mentioned in their job profile. So let us say it is going to be C++. So what you do for C++, do the interview research, like First of all, you go to Glassdoor. Some people even share their interview experiences. Go through those questions and just understand, okay, these are some set of questions which are there. Even I'll tell you one experience. For one of the company, I had my written test. So what I did, I was just searching on internet, and on Glassdoor I found out a question, like two questions were there. I practiced those two questions, and in the written test exactly same questions were there. So sometimes what companies do, they repeat questions, so you will have to keep your eyes open and just browse on internet that do we have any information available there or not. Check YouTube as well. So these days a lot of people are opening their YouTube channels and all, and there they are sharing their interview experiences, so that is also going to be a great help. Also, one more thing which you can do, top 50 interview question, top 100 interview questions and all. So what you will have to do from there, like let us talk about, we have a question like what is encapsulation, and then they will have a one liner or two liner answer for that. Do not go on the answer, just see what the question is talking about. Based upon that, you can do your own research where you are coming up with a good answer, because you can understand that is not going to be a written test, that is going to be an interview, so people will expect you to speak more. And even if interview is happening, so let us say I am taking your interview and I am asking you to write down a code for some of the question. If you're not able to understand, do not jump directly into the implementation part. Repeatedly ask as many questions as you want to, unless you're fully, like you're fully confident that you know each and everything about it. After that only you move into the implementation for the same. And always like, this was the question which was asked to me in the Google interview. That was like they gave me one piece of code to write down, and in that I used compare to. So they were asking me what is the complexity for that. So if you are writing down any code in, like, any logic or anything, if you're using any shortcuts or any methods or lambda expression, anything, make sure that you are well versed with that, because what kind of questions you can expect in your interviews. Let us say you are using some piece of code, you can ask the person to ask you questions based upon that only first, before jumping into the standard interview questions. And like you will have lots of interviews happening around, so what you can do, maintain a notebook, and there you just write down what all questions has been asked. Also you will have friends in other colleges, keep on asking that what questions were asked to them in the different companies. Why? Because there are going to be some standard set of questions which will be asked in all the companies. And how you can start, like a lot of people, even I have done that mistake. So what I used to do, I used to maintain a planner, and that planner always used to be like on 21st I'll do this, on 22nd I'll do that. Do not make a planner in that way. Instead you make a planner topic wise, like today I will do recursion, tomorrow I will do backtracking, after that I will do dynamic programming, and so on. Because topic wise, if you are taking time, doesn't matter, but you should know in which order you have to cover all the topics. And some people even say that, okay, I got selected in a company, now what should I do before I join the company? That time is perfectly in your hands. It's up to you if you want to chill around or if you want to learn something. Like, I'm not saying you should be doing it, but it is completely up to you, because this data structure and algorithm part is only limited till interview. Once you're joining the company, they are going to provide you some KTs, and based upon those KTs, you will have to complete your day-to-day task. But before that, like, you will have to do all these things. Also, if you're joining any of the company, you will have to ask as many questions as you have for anything. Like, just understand what your project is all about. And let's say I am asking you to write down a code for adding two numbers. So your thought process should not be limited about, okay, she asked me to write two numbers, I'll take two variables, I'll take third variable sum, pass values, do sum and return it back to her. But all things you can ask at that time, that why you are asking me to write this code, who is going to use this code, where are we going to place this code? Why? Because you can understand your piece of code is actually going to be just fitting inside a big project. So it should be at a place where you can understand where and all it is going to make a difference. And whatever topics you are going to cover as a part of your preparation, like pick any of the programming language. People ask me which programming language should I pick? So trust me, you can pick any of the programming language. There is no restriction on pick Java or pick C sharp or something. But do not do a thing which I have seen a lot of people doing. So what they do, they will have one resume for C sharp, one resume for Java, one resume for C++, and so on. Do not do that. Do not actually reach to a level where you are super desperate to have a job. Just stick to one language and then you write down the code for the same. Because you know what happens when we keep on switching between two programming languages, we often get confused between the syntaxes, and that is the thing which actually makes a difference whenever you are writing any piece of code, because we want to write a code which is error free. We do not want to put a lot of errors there. So do not jump into lots of programming languages. Just pick one language and then you try to understand what and all you can do out of that particular language. And like let us say you have picked Java, learn everything whatever you want to learn about that. Apart from that, what you can do, like again front, I told you about the front end, back end, and the scripting language. Apart from that, if you have some spare time, learn about unit testing. So I'll actually give you a very brief overview about unit testing and integration testing. So integration testing means you have a complete system and you want to test if it is working fine or not. So that means you are integrating all the modules and as a system you are testing it. Whereas unit testing means you are testing individual modules. So let us say your website is having a login page. You will just check if login button is working correctly or not, if text box is working correctly or not. So individually you are just going to check each and everything individually and then you will pass it on there. And why it is important to know about unit testing, because these days a lot of companies are asking about unit testing as well. So that is something you should be well versed with. And with oops concept, you do not just do it like, okay, I know the definition for abstraction, I know the definition for encapsulation, and that is how we can just achieve it. Always write code for the same. So like let us say you are talking about polymorphism. For that also, you should be knowing what all types of polymorphisms we have. And for each of the type, you should have a code ready with you, and with the help of that code you can actually understand it better, that okay, if we are saying something, how it is actually helping us out. And keep a track of what all new things are coming into the market. I'm not saying just use each and everything, but at least you should be well versed with what it is happening. So some of the questions I have seen in C sharp particularly, and these days companies are asking about those particular topics as well. So you people should be knowing about what all things you need to do and in what order you need to do. And in the free time, just have a tab on what all new topics are coming in and how can you stay updated with that. So when website is a plural site, one website is Udemy and all. So I'm not saying go for a particular course, but at least for a particular course, you can see, okay, let us say I'm talking about solid principles. So you can see, okay, this particular course is on solid, and in that they're defining everything. So you can see the subtopics available. A rest of the part you can read it online as well, and then you can incorporate in your code. So that is all you can do. And one more thing, like which I have done. So that was like when I was applying for interviews, what I was like, that is actually a mistake. So what I was doing, I was, let's say a company is asking about microservices. I was coming like after getting free, I was learning about microservices. If they're asking me about something, I was after getting free, I was learning about that. Do not do that. You just define that, okay, these are my area of expertise, and I just want, like, in that area of expertise, you should always be having a good understanding. And in interviews, people may ask you questions like, okay, like, let's talk about oops only. So, on oops, rate yourself out of 1 to 5. So do not say 5, because 5 actually says that you are overconfident. You do not want to sound as a overconfident there. Rather, you can say 4 if you are extremely confident about the topic. Otherwise, you can say 3. Because these ratings are something based upon that they are going to shoot a lot of questions to you. If you are going to say about 5, they may ask you a lot of trickier questions. And one more thing which everybody expects from every one of you, that how good you are at learning. It doesn't matter how much you know at that particular time, but how much you are willing to learn and what all things you can incorporate if you are given a chance where you can actually learn about each and everything. So these are the things like which you should always keep in your mind. And I can assume you people will be having lots of questions. So probably we can take up questions now.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for such an informative and enlightening webinar. You gave us various knowledgeable information that enhance our knowledge. Now, if anyone is having any question, we can start our Q&A. So please raise your hands. We will unmute your mic. Okay. We have unmuted your mic. You can speak now.
Good evening. My question is how much interview preparation is different from the actual things we do in a software development role?
Sorry, could you please repeat?
My question is the things that we learn, suppose data structures and algorithms, how much that is different from the actual tasks we do in a job, software development role?
So that is going to be like, let's talk about my current role only. So data structures and algorithm that we have learned only for the interview preparation. But here what we are doing, we are purely working on C sharp language. So it is like we have to do something. We can use some of the code to optimize it. But again, we are not going to purely use like so far in my more than 4 years of experience, I have never used data structures like trees, graphs, or something in order to achieve any of the things. But other commonly used things which we use in our jobs, that is arrays. Sometimes we use strings. Rarely I have used linked list as well. Dictionary is something which I use a lot in order to achieve a lot of my tasks. So that is what is going to happen. And one more thing, like which I'll talk about tier one company and tier two and three is like why people drill you to that level in the interviews. That is because for the tier one companies, you are not going to copy paste any of the code. Whatever code you are writing, you will only have to come up with a solution, and based some logic, and based upon that you will have to get the solution there. Whereas if we'll talk about tier 2 or tier 3 companies, let us say I'm asking you to create a login page. You will just go on internet, copy paste two lines, modify it according to my needs, and then you can present it to me. Your workload is going to be lesser. Whereas if we'll talk about tier 1 company, that is where it is going to be challenging because you are not just creating it. You're not just writing a code, you're creating that particular technology. So right now we have our, like I am in the WPF team. So that is providing some front end forms and all. So how it is all about, people are there, like it is an open source. So we have open community on Git. So people are commenting that this code is not working correctly. So like from external we are getting bugs, from internal we are getting bugs, and we have to address everything in single go. So even if it is a code, or even if it is a new feature which we want to integrate to our code, everything includes a lot of things which is coming purely out of our own logic building. So that is why even when we had our induction, that time also they said that we have picked outstanding engineers from a large pool. And why they pick outstanding engineers, that is because they want to get their jobs done in lesser time. So all data structure and all is all about how good you are with forming a logic, or with resolving if you are getting any of the error, because that is where you are going to get stronger with the logics. I hope I have addressed your question.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, now if anyone have any questions, please raise your hands.
One question I want to ask Anjali, as such you have discussed some of the common papers which the interviewers are asking. For example, data structures, and one is operating system you told us, and networking you describe us, and any other paper which the students must focus while studying their curriculum which are there in their hand. So, any more papers which they should address vividly? I just want to know, or this would help our audience to focus more on those papers.
So, in like we have different subject names. So we had a subject like web technologies, and in that we were dealing with the HTML, CSS, and all. So that is also like if we'll talk about the front end, so that is where you're going to form a good base. So when I was going through it, I was like, who will be doing this particular job? But now you can understand basic HTML is nothing, but HTML5 is super, super powerful, and which we are using for a lot of our websites. So that is all you can actually do. And we have lots of internship programs in Microsoft. We have by the name of Engage, and we have in Google as well as in Amazon. So third year students, second year student, fourth year students, you all can actually apply for those internships, and that is where they will ask you to create a program in some, not program, some project in some 2 weeks or 3 weeks of or 4 weeks of time. And in what is the advantage of those programs is that post that they are going to offer you either the full time employment or the internship. So that is a good way of actually securing a job in one of the prestigious organization.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Any further questions
I
from the
guess we
audience?
have
Yes, ma'am.
Ashutosh.
Ashutosh Prajapati.
Yeah.
I'm allowing your mic. Now you can speak.
Good afternoon. Ma'am, I want to ask that like we are in the first year. I'm a first year student, and I want to learn more language. Means one more language. So, what is the correct way to learn? Me, it's, either from the books or some video sources. Means how we can learn to the core to the language. And is it the right time to start to learn a new language in first year, or we should wait for some more time?
That is the perfect time. You won't believe people are learning these programming languages from sixth or seventh standard. And I'm literally surprised that by sixth or seventh standard, I didn't even know that programming languages are even there in the market. So you can start now. And what is the best thing like to start programming is by the book Let Us See by Yashwant Kanetkar. That is a wonderful book to go through. Like that is the one where you are going to create a base. You are going to understand about the operators, you are going to understand about the statements, the conditions, and everything. And after doing that book, then you can pick some language, and it could be anything of your interest. Because again, we know C is not a object oriented language, and now we need some object oriented language in order to achieve all our tasks done in an efficient way. So that is up to you. Even we get a lot of jobs in C plus plus, then we have C sharp, Python, PHP, anything you can pick. And there is nothing like some people say that do this you will get lots of jobs, or pick this you will get lots of jobs. Nothing is like that. Every programming language has their own defined companies, and a lot of companies are using various technologies. Plus, one more thing which I want to tell, that if you are going to I do not know like from where you all people are from, but if you are targeting some jobs in Delhi NCR, you need to understand, if you will compare the IT sector of Delhi NCR with Hyderabad and Bangalore, so Hyderabad and Bangalore are quite comparatively bigger in terms of offices as well. So they will have bigger offices. So we'll have a lot of standalone buildings with lots of employees there. So what does that actually mean? If we have lots of employees, so we will have some dedicated people who are taking care of the back end part, some will be taking care of the front end part, and so on. Whereas if we'll move towards Delhi NCR, offices are smaller in size with lesser number of employees. So what they are expecting, more output from less people. That means they are expecting, like in majorly companies in north, this is what I have observed, they are expecting a full stack developer, means one person who can take care for the front end as well as for the back end part, because they do not want lots of employees there, they do not have that much of space. So based upon, like, if you people are okay with the relocation, like based upon that you start doing your preparation. If you're okay with the relocation, So in the different cities, you will be okay with some designated positions. But if you're targeting Delhi NCR, you will have to do a lot of hard work. And that is actually the truth. And one more thing, whenever you are going to give your interviews, be prepared for some initial rejections. And that is perfectly fine. Even when I was giving rejections, I even had some breakdowns where I ended up crying because nobody likes rejection. And if you people understood about me from this whole session, I am such kind of a person who doesn't like to get failures. But even I got lots of failures. But at the end, what actually matters is how confident you are, how much belief you have in yourself. So, when I got rejected for one of the company, I contacted one of my senior and I told him that this and all has happened and I do not know what to do. That person had belief in me and he said in 15 days you will get a job, and you will not believe, in 15 days I had my Microsoft selection. Offer letter I got after some time, but they confirmed me that I am selected. So that is what happens. People will believe in you. So what you will have to do, if you're feeling little demotivated, watch some motivational stuff online or speak to those people with whom you will actually going to get a lot of some positivity and all. And people will be there who will be criticizing for a lot of things. So people criticized my decision for MTech, they criticized my decision for Microsoft. Even though, like, you can consider this is a big company, but still people were saying, oh, you're going for a old stack company, you're just going for the brand name. And also people are there on the social media who are going to let you down for each and everything. So it is in your hand, like your life is actually in your hand. It's up to you, like if you really want to listen to others or not. So just listen to everyone, but again at the end of the day you will have to decide what you will have to do. So even if I am saying some things to you, do your own homework on that, just see if she's making some sense or not, and based upon that you just see that okay, these are the takeaways and these are the things which we really need to focus upon. And if you feel something is really making you upset, or if something is literally distracting you, just avoid those things. So when I was preparing for gate, that time I was literally demotivated because in first attempt I couldn't get good marks, and second attempt was also happening, and I was feeling I'm lagging behind as my other friends are in better company. So what I did, I switched off the social media. I was like, I do not want to use social media unless I feel that I am now like having a better place and I can actually tell people that I have not wasted my time, I have utilized that. Same way, when I was looking for a job change, this LinkedIn was over flooded with news. Like people were posting, like even I have posted, like I got placed in this company, that company, and that was demotivating me. That every day I'm facing rejection. How come these people are getting selected? What different these people are doing? So if you feel something is not making you happy, just switch it off for a few days, and then you can resume it back. But it's up to you, like how you really want to get a hold on what all the things you have planned, and always dream big. So some people say, let's be realistic. I be able to get a job in Deloitte? Why are you targeting Deloitte when you can target something bigger than that? If you will dream something bigger, you will surely reach there. If you will dream something smaller, you will surely reach there. I believe in law of attraction, and you people should also believe in that. If you will dream big things, you will be one step closer to that. All you have to do is to attract positivity and attract good things.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Now, any more questions?
Ma'am, I wanted to ask, you said we should focus only on one programming language. But if a person knows more than one programming language quite good and he mentions it in his resume, then it's good or bad for him?
So let's say that we have a company ABC, and that company is only asking for Java. And let us say you know Java as well as C sharp. So just mention whatever these people are asking you. When you write more than one language, know what people understand. Like I'm telling you from a person who is looking at the resumes, that person feels that this person is just putting each and everything. He may or may not know each and everything to a good depth. Even if you're mentioning two or three things on your resume, that is perfectly fine, because those two or three things is actually something other people will feel that even if this person has done three things, but he must have a good in-depth knowledge about that. So earlier, what I used to do, I used to put a lot in my skill sets, but now I have restricted it to those topics in which I am fully confident with. Like, let us say there is React. And if you know, like, if you have to rate yourself in React, you are rating 2 out of 5. That means you're not fully confident. Do not mention it on your resume. And if you will put like that is obvious. So like earlier I had a good grip on Javas as well as on C sharp as well. But that happens only in the student phase. Once you are entering into corporate, you will be like forced to actually work on one programming language. So after 2 years or 3 years, you will have only one language as the primary language.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Hmm.
Are you working on any other domain before getting in Microsoft, like web development, Android development, or data science, anything like that?
No, but these are the topics which I do learn in my free time. So I'm actually very interested in knowing about a lot of things. So recently I was learning about React Native as well, though I never got a chance to work on React Native. So like jobs are something like here also I wanted a full like something with the front end as well. I told them that I want a full stack developer role. But these companies will offer you the positions which are vacant. And if they want somebody to take those places. So you cannot expect each and everything in those organizations. But what you can do if you have some free time, just take out some 1 hour or half an hour in a day and just learn whatever you want to. Earlier I was doing a lot of things, but these days I am not able to give that much of time because with time we get a lot of things. And I have joined Microsoft in the month of May only. So I didn't get enough time where I can actually just be fully confident about my current role. So right now I'm just giving my maximum time to my current role and keeping everything secondary.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, and one more thing which I want to tell you. So like we have three things. So first one is born with, another one is passion, third one is economic engine. So what are these three things? Let us say we have some famous singer. So that person is born with a talent of singing. Also that person can act like is very passionate about singing, that he made that as his profession. Plus that passion is helping him in earning money. So if you are able to find out these 3 points in your life, trust me, you will be on the right track. So I have seen a lot of people doing certain of the things just under peer pressure or because of society pressure, because if their parents are asking them to do something, or sometimes they do it that I just want money out of it. They are not concerned about if the role is interesting or not. So you need to figure out if you are actually aligned with these three things. First thing is born with. So you know if you have any talent or not. It's perfectly fine if you have it. If it is not there, that is also perfectly fine. Next one is the passion. A lot of people do not know about their passion. So you need to spend some time in order to find out their passion. And I have seen people spending a lot of time, but they do not figure out with what they are passionate about. So, if I'll have to tell you a simple definition of passion, that is something which keeps you happy, which keeps you alive. So, for me, my passion is teaching and coding. So, if I do some coding work, I do not care even if it is 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning. Sometimes I start writing code in the evening time and then I end up till early morning next day because I'm super involved in that, and that is not making me feel tired. That is what happens. Like some people open their own startups. Why do they enjoy that? Because they enjoy doing that works. And people say that, oh, why are you working for 14 hours? Just take a break, take some sleep and all. Perfectly fine because that person is enjoying, no. So why to interrupt? But for you people, like let us say you are having some difficult times, take a some break, because that burnout is not going to help you out. Like as I'm saying, if you are happy about it, perfectly fine. If you're not happy about it, take some breaks, some 15 minutes of break, like some short breaks you can take. Sometimes like even I do, sometimes I just do not work at all for 2 days, and in those 2 days I refresh myself. So that is also equally important. But yeah, you have to find out your passion, and with that passion you have to see if that is helping you in earning or not. So my two passions, they both are actually helping me in earning. So at the end of the day I'm very happy. So my friends keep on asking me, how are you able to manage a lot of things? So recently, one of my friend was asking me, "Do you get different set of hours in a day, or what? That you are doing a lot of things in a day?" But it's like I enjoy each and everything, and I do not consider that as a burden. So that is what is keeping me happy, and I am able to actually think about that what and all things I can do. And if I'll have to talk about, like I do not know if you people know about it or not. So whenever you are joining a company, initially you will have a position of intern. After intern you will get, like sometimes intern is there, otherwise a full time developer role is there. Then there will be various levels for a full-time developer, and then you will have two choices to make. One is to go into the managerial round. Another one is to go into architect role. So as I said, architect role is all about making decisions about what code do they want to design in what way, and manager is something which is actually managing all the people. So you people are quite young, you cannot actually decide what you want to do, but once you enter into the corporate, you start analyzing what work which person is doing, and is that work exciting you or not. If it is exciting you, that means you are born for that particular role, and then you just spend time with your senior people. Like this is what I do a lot. Collaborate with as many people as you can. Contact your seniors. Right now you are in college, so contact your seniors and just ask them what all things they have learned. So usually we do a lot of gossips and all, but utilize that gossips into a way that, okay, if they are working on something, what all things they are working upon, what are their dreams and how they are planning to go there. That way you will have a better idea about what you will have to do, and not just do it in your college. You can do it even on LinkedIn.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Now moving forward, if anyone has any questions, please raise your hands.
Yeah, ma'am, I have one more questions. Like, how is the interview of internship and this full-time job? How they differ? Like the on-campus placement offer both the internship interview like in third year or the full-time job interview in fourth year.
So,
Like how they
like,
differ?
so like, let us say you are applying for the internship in some of the company. So, in the third year itself, you will have to provide them your resume, and whatever projects you have done, you will have to mention it there. And there you will expect, like, depending upon the company, some set of questions are going to be there. And even if you are in third year, you do not feel that people are going to ask any easier questions. Those are going to be same no matter you are in third year or fourth year. After that, chances are very high that after getting internship, they will offer you a PPO, that is pre-placement offer, and then you will get a full-time opportunity. Usually people give a break of like 1 month, and then they will ask people to rejoin as a full-time employee.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Any more questions, anyone? So now moving forward, I would like to invite our convener of Blitz Society, Ms. Bhavna ma'am, to give a vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
Thanks, Shruti. Uh, I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Yeah. On behalf of Blitz Society of Computer Science Department, 𝘔𝘴 𝘈𝘠𝘕, I, Dr. Bhavna Gupta, Coordinator Blitz Society, would like to thank all the people who contributed for this event. First of all, my heartfelt thanks to our speaker, Ms. Anjali Sheel, for guiding our students what skills one should have to excel in interviews by giving the real life examples, and it's a quite you can say entertaining as well as knowledgeable also, that a student must have learned a lot, and moreover how to write any robust code, knowledge about the application tracker system, applicants tracker system, and many of the things which we normally tell our students while preparing them to write the code, like indentation, documentation, but still the things are getting reiterated by you, and definitely the audience are able to relate the things now much better because they are looking to join the biz world soon. And next, I would like to thank our principal ma'am, Professor Madhu Prute, and our vice principal ma'am, Professor Preeti Sehgal, for providing us their support and valuable time and motivating us to organize more such events to guide our students. I would also like to thank whole of the Blitz team, Department of Computer Science, who worked tirelessly for this event. And next, I would also like to place my thank to teachers of the Blitz team, Mr. Sudhir and Dr. Sumit Agarwal and Ms. Jyoti. The team also want to thank Ms. Molleen, TIC, Computer Science, Last but not the least, a big thank to our wonderful audience, comprising teachers and the non-teaching staff and students of diverse backgrounds who showed their interest in the webinar. Thank you again, Anjali, for taking your time from your busy schedule and enlightening our students about the interviews and resume building. Thank you. Over to you, Shruti.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your kind words. Thank you, Anjani ma'am, as well. Now, before ending the webinar, I would like to mention that we will be sending feedback forms to you all. So please fill that form so that we can acknowledge your reviews and hence make the upcoming events even more better. Thank you so much. Now you may all can leave. The event is over.
Thank you, everyone. Happy learning and stay tuned.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Anjali. We can stop the recording. Whosoever is controlling the recording, they can stop the recording.